Two armies stood on hills, facing each other. The Philistines were on one side, the Israelites were on the other. Between them was the valley of Elah. No one wanted to fight first. The air felt heavy with worry. Then Goliath came out. He was a giant from Gath. His armor was heavy and strong. He carried a big, sharp spear. He looked very, very scary. Goliath shouted his challenge. "Choose a man to fight me. If he wins, we are your servants. If I win, you are our servants forever." David was a young shepherd boy. He lived in Bethlehem, a small town known for its rolling hills and peaceful pastures. Every day he would take his flock of sheep to graze in the lush fields. He took good care of his sheep, ensuring they were safe from predators and had plenty of food and water. David was diligent and responsible, always putting the needs of his flock first. He was the youngest of many brothers, often overlooked because of his age. His older siblings were strong and experienced, while David was still growing and learning. His older brothers were in the army, serving under King Saul. They were brave warriors, fighting to protect their people from the Philistines. David was small but strong. He had a courageous heart and a determined spirit. He spent his free time practicing with his sling, honing his skills to protect his sheep. He loved God with all his heart, often spending time in prayer and reading the scriptures. His faith was unwavering, and he believed that God was always with him. One day David's father sent him on an important mission. "Take this food to your brothers," he instructed. David obeyed his father without hesitation. He gathered the provisions and set off on his journey, carrying bread, cheese, and other supplies for his brothers. The road was long, but David was determined to complete his task. He arrived at the army camp and was immediately struck by the tension in the air. He heard Goliath, the giant Philistine warrior, shouting and taunting the Israelite soldiers. David was surprised and curious. "Who is this Philistine?" he asked. "Why does he defy God's army?" David couldn't understand why no one had challenged Goliath. Determined to take action, David went to see King Saul. He knew that something had to be done to stop Goliath's blasphemy. "I will fight this giant Goliath," David declared with confidence. Despite his youth and size, he was ready to stand up for his people and his faith. King Saul wanted to help David. He saw the young shepherd boy's determination and bravery, and he wanted to give him the best chance to succeed. He offered David his own armor, thinking that the royal armor would protect him in the battle against the giant Goliath. But the armor was too big. It was heavy and cumbersome, making it difficult for David to move freely. "I cannot use these," David said. He knew that the armor would hinder rather than help him. He took all the armor off, deciding to rely on his own skills and the tools he was familiar with. David chose his own weapons. He knew that his strength lay in his agility and his experience as a shepherd. They were simple shepherd's tools, but they were tools he had mastered over the years. He took his trusty wooden staff, a symbol of his past victories over wild animals. He picked out 5 smooth stones from a nearby brook, carefully selecting each one for its perfect shape and weight. He put them in his shepherd's bag, ready to use them with his sling. He also had his simple sling, a weapon he had used countless times to protect his flock. David walked out to meet Goliath, his heart filled with faith and determination. The Philistine army watched him go, their eyes filled with disbelief and amusement. The Israelite army watched too, their hearts filled with hope and fear. Goliath saw David coming near, a small figure approaching with unwavering confidence. He laughed a very loud laugh, mocking the young shepherd boy who dared to challenge him. "Am I a dog?" Goliath shouted, his voice booming across the battlefield. "That you come at me with sticks?" He did not see God with David, the unseen force that gave the young shepherd his true strength and courage. David was not scared by Goliath. Despite the giant's intimidating size and fearsome reputation, David's heart was filled with courage. He knew that his faith in God would see him through this daunting challenge. He shouted back to the giant, his voice echoing with unwavering confidence. "You come with a sword and spear," David declared, acknowledging the weapons that Goliath wielded. "But I come in God's name," he proclaimed, his faith shining brightly. David trusted God to help him. He believed that divine power was far greater than any earthly weapon. Goliath moved closer to attack, his massive frame casting a long shadow over the battlefield. David ran quickly to meet him, his steps light and swift. Driven by his unshakable faith, he reached into his shepherd's bag, his fingers closing around a smooth stone. He took out one smooth stone, feeling its weight and texture. He put the stone in his sling. He aimed very carefully, his eyes focused and steady. David swung his sling around fast, the stone gaining momentum. Then he let the stone fly, trusting in God's guidance. It hit Goliath on his forehead, the impact precise and powerful. The giant fell hard on the ground, his defeat echoing through the valley. The boy had won with God's help. David's victory was a testament to the power of faith and courage.